I guess I should preface this with saying that I'm definitely on some morphine and muscle relaxers. I have been feeling an overwhelming sense of love. When you're at a place where you have the privilege of releasing so much pain, so that you could look back retroactively at your life and actually see the good things again. And not just see pain. I've fallen in love with so many of you. I genuinely didn't know I was loved in the way that I was. I didn't know I was beautiful. But I was in love with almost all of you. And I want to say that my family has done everything they could to help me over this time. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful God has me on this earth right now. And I'm grateful that you've shared that your hearts are open to being with me. Not just right now while I'm going through all of this. But whenever I transition, whether that be right now or in 50 years, that your hearts will still be open to communicating with me. I know you understand. I don't think I knew what to do with love, to be honest. I think I was afraid of deep intimacy. Which is why it was very easy for me to move from one relationship to another, or move towns, or have a deep, intimate connection, and I just didn't. I don't think any of us have the capacity to sustain and nurture and nourish hundreds of relationships and still be there for ourselves. And I think I got to that point, to be honest, where I wanted to be with all of you and nurture and nourish you and our relationships. But I couldn't offer myself the same. But I have been in love. With life and with men and women. And I want you to know that even if I can't or don't feel intuitively inspired to read every single message or respond to every single message, that I don't feel your love, because I do feel your love. Thank you for taking care of my family. I asked you to take care of my family, and you have. My family was here for 3 weeks. And I know that was a lot of energy for them and financial expense for them. And my mom is coming again for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because my heart said that I needed my mom. And my dad's coming too. And I spent so many years telling myself that I was gonna build a big community, and I was gonna show my family that I was lovable and accepted just the way I am. And that I was gonna heal, and that I could only heal without my family. But God said I needed my family. God said I needed my family. And that I needed my family to heal. And that I couldn't heal unless my family healed too. And I wanted to just make amends with everybody without talking to them, you know. without giving them a chance to know that I had made amends. But that they don't get a chance to heal in the same way, you see. I was in AA for a while, sex, love, and fantasy addiction. And I did not do the 12 steps. I did not do the 12 steps. And now I understand that it's not about me, actually. It's about all of us. And why would we want to heal without giving another person a chance to heal too? That's very selfish. And that's, I believe, why I didn't heal, actually. I've taken advantage of a lot of people. And I understand it was from a place of moving through mental health challenges and feeling scared and threatened and having a dysregulated nervous system and feeling like there wasn't going to be enough ever. And so I had to take and hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard. And then the other compulsive aspect to that is I had to spend, and I couldn't keep anything. And then you're left with a lot of fragmentation then, aren't you? Where you're not here, and you're not there, and you're not this, and you're not that. You're just observing all these different parts that don't make sense. And you're being the version of yourself that makes the people around you the most comfortable. But that made me very sad inside. That made me feel very lonely. To feel like I had to mask to be safe. The truth is, I'm just as scared as anybody else out there. But I'm also brave. You can't be brave unless you're scared. You can only have courage and bravery if you're scared. I know you're going to ask where I'm at with my health. It was very scary in the beginning for everyone because, the doctors, they referred me to hospice and everybody has an idea of what that means. And then because I was water fasting and my body wasn't moving without two people having to move me, the nurses said that I was a green light, which means they thought I was going to go very fast. And so that's why everybody posted on my Facebook and said, okay, this is happening. But we just don't know, do we? every day the angels are working with me, and my shamanic guides are working with me. And every day I feel your love too. And it was very painful for me to put my phone down for almost 6 weeks. And to feel all of you reaching for me. And feeling all of the pain that you were moving through. Because you didn't know what was happening with me, and you didn't get a chance to talk to me. But God said to me, you will not people please anymore. You will not be responsible for other people's feelings and emotions and experience of life. You will not overconsume electronics and people and thoughts and food and videos and tutorials and articles and books on tape and supplements and shots. I was taking over 20 supplements. I was shooting myself with medicine. Essential oils. Taking my walk every day, doing 2 meditations every day. And my body said stop. I literally was throwing up. I was throwing up. When I tried to take a pill, my body was throwing up. Because my body said, no more consumption. It's too much to process. I was doing 5 different protocols at once. But the truth is, I didn't even want to live anymore. And I was exhausted from trying. Everybody said that if anybody could do it, Rachel can. I've heard that my whole life. And pivoting for somebody like me who has OCD, there's something called neural inflexibility, where it's hard for me to change the direction of my path. Even if it's in the same day, let alone the whole trajectory of my life. But my friends noticed that I needed more and more help. And that my body was having a hard time. But I believe in magic. And God promised me that what's to come is more beautiful than anything that I can imagine. And so I hold the frequency of something that's more beautiful than anything I can imagine. And if it doesn't feel that way, then I blitz the frequency. And I say, that's not right. That's not what's happening to me. What's coming is more beautiful than I could ever imagine. And I want you to be a witness to that. And I appreciate your grace that I probably won't be communicating with you individually. Because I'm working with God right now, you see. And if I'm to stay on my body, in my body, around my body, or if I'm to time jump to a different timeline, or if I'm to quantum leap, or if I'm to transition into the unified field, whatever it is, it's going to be more beautiful than I could ever imagine. I've had an amazing life. So I've had an amazing life. I've had a great life. And even though I had a lot of addiction, and I had OCD, and at one point very intense PTSD, I'm able to see now that the core of me was always the same. That I always just wanted to love and be loved, you see. I think I'm dead. I will say this, because I don't think I've ever once said I'm done talking and stopped talking. I think that's a very funny part about me. That there is great momentum for me moving forward. That this time of respite and pause and literally having to be still is creating huge momentum and power. So I do believe that I'm not going back to anywhere that I was. And that I'm forever changed. I cannot be the same. But the change is because I'm closer to God. I want to say that I've just only begun to read your messages intuitively, the ones that God says to read. And some of your messages are so heart-opening. And I just watched for the first time the Zoom that Darnella created And it was a wild. It was gorgeous. It was very wild to watch somebody talk about you when you're not there, because I think often I have created the narrative that I'm not really who I am, and that I'm just lost inside of identities that were created just to keep me safe. Does that make sense? But somewhere inside of listening to this Zoom, there was an invitation to own all the parts of me that I've been, whether or not they were authentic to me or not. And I love you so much for that. I'm being very well taken care of. I'm eating now, and I pretty much eat anything I want. But I listen to my body. But I don't eat anything that doesn't smell good. I'm out in the sunshine almost every day. The only thing I wish I could do more is put my feet on the ground. But we're in talks with my caregiver about having some stronger people over here so I could get out to the earth and put my feet on the ground more. But other than that, I feel honored to be moving through what I'm moving through. And it took me a lot to see that. So I don't just say that flippantly, like I'm grateful for fucking everything. I say that because I've worked night and day to understand and to receive the power of God in me, through me, and as me, as someone in a female body, where for centuries, or for thousands of years, women only had the right to submit and not to heal themselves. So if you were only taught to submit to God, to submit to your husband, to submit to the church, how could you know and understand that there's a time and a place to demonstrate your power? Without having to talk about it. Without having to be in conversation. Just letting everything about you turn to ash. And trust that there's a phoenix that will rise. Somewhere in space and time. Somewhere. And that you have the right in a female body. With no limits. Because there's something in your nature that understands the network. And that automatically connects to the network. That's the difference between God and ego. Is that God cannot just exist in you, but everybody. And ego can just exist in you. That's our secret, you see. Our secret. Is connected to the network. Okay, well, I feel your prayers. And I feel your desire. For me to continue to know myself as God.